Okay, the course continues with universalism. Universalism, like I told you earlier, is about bringing together the different elements required to structure the minds of the people away from what they have at the moment. What we have at the moment, the structure of our mind at the moment, is centered on the divisive factors, centered on the differences that we share. So we need to change our frame of mind. We have to change our frame of our mind to align with those factors which bring us together, which we share in common. Now, you know this is a lecture and it's not a speech making lecture. I'm taking it slowly, slowly, so that you can understand. It's already complicated, so we need this slow pace for the idea to sink. Now, the core values of life is what you are seeing. And this is what I told you earlier about Ireland, how Ireland functions. The core values of life by ethics and codes of conduct. See, core values of life by ethics for establishing human state of mind and society. They include accountability, justice, rule of law, fairness, equality, equity, human development, productivity, services, performance and rewards, social inclusion, and economic inclusion. These are the 12 cardinal stones for establishing the I code concept. Ethics with their corresponding codes of conduct. The codes of conduct are those action words required to fulfill these ethical obligations. Identification for accountability. If you want to identify, if you want to take account of things, you want to account for anything, what you do, what people are doing, especially in terms of governance, you have to identify all the objects and items that are required to be managed, both human beings and material things, both human, material, digital, everything that is required in that locality or within the structure of what you want to administer must be identified. Monitoring for justice. If you want to ensure there is justice, you must conduct proper monitoring. Examination for rule of law, evaluation for fairness, welfare for equality, planning for equity, education and employment for human development, productivity development for productivity, services development for services, reconciliation with for rewards, performance that goes with rewards, safety for social inclusion and funding, the action point for economic inclusion. This is what Ireland does. You can see core values of civilization by codes of conduct for establishing arms of government. Wow. Ethics is for establishing the state of the mind of the people, the state governments. So with this, we are going to have rather state of accountability, state of justice, state of the rule of law. 12 state governments from universalism. That's what universalism offers. And 12 arms of government. That's what universalism actually offers. With iCode, you can have a country, a continent, or a society that is partitioned into 12 places. This is what this is saying. You remember, these are fictions. Fictions as in names, brand names, names of states. These are ethical values that we are using to create names of states. I said it in one of the videos that Dubai has Sports City. Dubai has Auto City, School Town. That is the way they have structured their own mindset. They have a different pattern of partitioning their people, creating economic structures, economic clusters, and parks for development. And that is the same ideology that we should imbibe. First of all, we need ethics. And the doing words are like the arms of government, the functional words. When you say Imo State is just a name, what is the functional word in Imo State? What is this functional? What does Imo State mean to Nigeria? What does Osun State mean to Nigeria? But if you have a state of accountability, what it will mean to Nigeria is the state that is responsible for identifying every object, every item in the country. And this state will be working for the whole country, not for that geographical location. That is the idea of iCode. The state of justice, that state government will be located in one particular part of the country. The secretariats will be there. But the role of the state is to monitor the society. They will be in charge. Because they will be all over the country. And how? I'll tell you how in the next video, I think. But let me begin to give you idea. They will be all over the country because citizens are going to register at the immediate communities or in the cyber with their occupation and profession. So if your occupation and your profession aligns in terms of monitoring, aligns with monitoring and justice, of course, the AI will connect you in that dimension of government. So through the cyber, you can easily identify uniquely where you belong to. The state of fairness. The secretariats can be found in one particular location of the country, but the citizens will be in all parts of the country because of the dynamism of the new structure. The structure of iCode does not limit one to the immediate community. The immediate community is just the immediate community formations of the 144 units by the 12 by 12 matrix is to include everybody to join in an enterprise. The 144 people will form an enterprise or a cooperative to join at the center through the people's sector, to join the national strategies, to find everybody on the template. So it is very critical that we understand the dynamics of iCode. iCode attempts to include everybody into the national strategy. Using these components, these thematic variables to identify citizens, you'll see more of it in the core values of civilization, which is being bracketed by the core values of life. So the core values of life by universalism is to establish the state government. So we now have a new structure of 4 regions and 12 states to come out clearer when we begin to show the new structure of governance. But this is the concept idea of universalism. The concept idea is to use factors that can bring us together, that we share in common. Those things you know that you wouldn't want another person to do to you, you don't do it to another person. You want to be treated fairly, equally. You don't want your subordinates not to account properly to you. And you yourself, you have to account to your subordinates. So this is the idea of harmony amongst human beings by universalism. Unlike the divisive factors that you cannot force people to agree upon, these are factors that are essential for human development. Everybody accepts this. Everybody voluntarily accepts these values that bring us together. Whether you like it or you don't like it, this is the only way out. So universalism is the strongest factor that we need to generate a fresh structure of our mind and the society, the state governments and the arms of government is generated by universalism, and the regions of government. So 3 dimensions of government. When we talk about restructuring Nigeria, we have already started from here. Begin to think how you can design your own structure. But ICODE can give you a framework and a template to navigate in your own idea world of idea. These are the ideals of governance in the ICODE concept that gives us the model. Sometimes we don't know whether to call democracy a model of governance, a system, or a form of government. But I think I should see democracy as the religion of governance, covering those 3 elemental factors of national configuration or states configuration. The configurational value of European countries is totally different from the configurational value of African countries. But both Africa and Europe are using the same religion of governance, but different structural compositions. This is why there is problem. This is why Europe is developing, because they are using the right formula to operate in their society. But we are using the wrong formula to operate in our own society in Africa. So this has to be treated. Otherwise, Africa will not develop.